does he block the ears, or sometimes he seeks to come closer to that sound that is around? Maybe the TV is on, but the child wants to just be around the speaker. Sometimes you might think anataka kusikia hiyo sauti, but it's a sensory seeking behavior, of which sometimes you might not like it, because if I'm talking and everyone, the ears are here, who will hear and who will not hear? So we have to alleviate such a hypersensitivity, a seeking behavior. So what we do, if the child is seeking a sound, we give more of the sound so that the child is get used to it. We alleviate, sorry. If the child is seeking the behavior, we have to withdraw the sound. If the child doesn't want to hear the sound, we introduce the sound, and also to increase maybe the volume of the sound, because you might find there are those kids who block their ears when maybe someone is singing or a child is crying, or maybe you feel a parent telling you, nikiwasha tu blender, the child blocks the ears. So you know that this child has a hypersensitivity or a hyposensitivity behavior. So when you are working with the child, you have also to work on the sensory input. There is also this child who has we call it the sense of touch. You ask the parent that the child withdraw from any texture of clothing, ama kuna ile nguo anatakanga kuvaa sana. So you find most kids, they don't have a problem with tactile. Then if the child has a challenge, the texture anakataa, that is what we introduce more until the child gets used to it, because the more you introduce it, the more the brain registers it's not something harmful. Then we have the sense of taste. The parent will tell you, my child doesn't like this type of texture. Nikipika chipo, just dry food, he can eat. If there is food with soup, the child can't eat. So it's not a problem, but it's because the sense of taste, it's not fully processed in the brain. So when this child gets used to dry foods, then the parent continue giving dry foods, the brain will never communicate that I can take food with soup, or I can take a drink. So what you do, we try to do something called, or there is something also on the sense of taste. Some kids also tend to kukula nguo, kukula unwanted materials. So at the same time we incorporate those activities, we have to use a therapy brush. It's called a electric brush. We also do oral stimulation on the oral muscles. Then we also tell the parent, and also we incorporate it during the therapies, ama mtoto when he's during the ako shule, introduce the texture of food that the child doesn't like. Look at what the child wants. Is it the color? Sometimes maybe it might be the color of the food. Sometimes it might be the aroma, how the food is smelling. So you have to be keen at what your child likes. Then also there is a sense of smell, where the child has to smell at food before he eats. Even if you are cooking pilau, you find the child, it's on the plate, but just want to smell and feel the smell before he or she decides if he'll take it. So what we do, we introduce different smells, all the different smells, so that the brain registers that it processes. It's not just one smell. There are different smells around. So when you introduce if you know your child doesn't like pilau because of the color, you are now able to change the color, but it's the pilau, but it's not brown. If your child likes the food that maybe he didn't like ugali because it's white, and maybe your child likes food that is green, you have to know how you make that food become green. You'll blend the green vegetables and put in that ugali, just to make sure that the child eats, so that the sensory input takes place. So the more you do it as a routine, the brain is able to register, organize, and process the information. And now there's something we work on that is called cognitive skills. Is the concentration, attention, eye-hand coordination skills that are our major concerns when you are working with children with autism, so that the sessions in speech and in class, the teacher in class can be able to do the writing skills. So while working on the concentration, attention, and the eye-hand coordination of the child, we use the therapeutic activities. We use activities such as maybe beading, the sorting of colors. We use the marbles. We do stacking of blocks. We do the scooping activities. We also do the tidying up activities. So what you do while doing this beading or while doing these stacking blocks, you go according to the ability of the child. There's this child who will come like, is he interested in these beads? He's not interested. What can I use? Maybe you draw closer the child, maybe using the blocks. This child, we're now working on the concentration and the attention. The child can sit down and concentrate when just looking at the blocks. But when we do the attention, we want this child to work with the blocks the way it's supposed to. You don't just stand looking at the blocks. You need to work with the blocks. If the child is able to, maybe the child was able to sit down, but didn't work with the blocks. Day 2, the child was able to sit down and maybe stacked 3 to 5 blocks. Day 3, the child sat down, stacked up to 10 blocks. So the more the child is able to sit down, it's increasing the sitting tolerance. The more the child is able to stack, the more blocks the child is able to stack, it's increasing the attention span. So our children are so manipulative. You can't achieve the concentration and attention span if the child at earlier, if because of stacking the blocks, then maybe the parent or the teacher leaves the child to go. So if you want to achieve the attention, the concentration, the task has to be complete. Maybe today the therapist decided, yesterday the child stacked 10 blocks, today we are stacking 15. So you ensure the child completes the task so that you can increase the span, the time span. That's how you are able to achieve the concentration and attention span of the child. We also work on activities of daily living. They include the dressing, feeding, toileting, and and grooming. So on feeding, we assess if a child is past 3 years. When he comes at our center, the child has to train how to self-feed because it's a milestone a child should have by the 3 years. So we work hand in hand with our caregivers who help our children to train on independent feeding. We also on feeding, we also train sharing skills. So during the feeding time, when they're having their snacks, that's where they learn on the sharing skills. We also have the toileting. Toileting is a long-term skill we train our children because it's more on receptive skills the speech are working on. So if the child doesn't understand much on what you mean by the potty and how the system, how to maybe when you tell that doesn't understand when he or she has the urge, it's hard to train potty training. But what we do, we create a schedule when the child comes in. We check how long does this child take before he messes on the pants. Maybe it's 15 minutes. So we take this in a schedule of 15 minutes. After every 15 minutes, the child goes to the washroom. After every 15 minutes, the child goes to the washroom. So that maybe the moment the child understands what you mean by going to that toilet or the potty and how to do when he has the urge or not, then you increase the time span to 20 minutes to 30 minutes. Kids are different, so the schedules are different. So when you use a schedule, it's easy to train the potty or how to use the toilet. When our kids upgrade from using a potty, we train them on how to use a toilet, and we inform the parents to also practice it at home. On grooming skills, we ask a parent how sensitive is your child when making hair or when cutting nails, when brushing teeth. So if the child has a challenge, we do it during the sessions. So because we say if a parent wants their child to make their hair, what can you do? You have to help the parent the parent and also the child to make their hair. So if there is this sensitivity, you try to alleviate the sensitivity, maybe using a pressure brush. After using it for a while, that's when you now start using the comb. Slowly the child gets used to it. But you have to make it a routine. If you do it on Monday and do it again on Friday, the brain doesn't register. So you find it becomes hard to, the brain registers the information. But if you do it daily, combing the hair daily, the brain process. So you find by the time it's a week to a month, the child maybe gets used to it. Not every child will get used to it in a month, but the more you continue doing it, the child gets used to it. Then we have also addressing activity of daily living. A 3-year-old child should be able to be wearing socks and putting on Crocs. So that's where we begin, so that our children are able to, they don't delay in the milestone. So if your child doesn't know how to wear socks, doesn't know how to put on Crocs at 3-year-old, we start it from there. Then we also train on different buttoning skills, so that you can't always be putting a hood that is always closed. This child, at the end of the day, we aim at the independence. Can be able, when it's hot, can unzip the jacket and maybe remove it, can unbutton and maybe button the shirt. Train on independence, so that by the time the child is 5 to 7 years, the child should be independent in dressing. So when we have those children who are at our center at that age, we also encourage the parents to help them, let them choose the dressing to wear, so that the child can know, when after showering, how do I have to choose this, and this, and how do I wear it? I don't wear a t-shirt before a vest. What do I have to start with? So on grooming skills, for us, we train on those different buttoning skills, and also we try to train them on dressing skills during their sessions, which are also incorporated by our caregivers. We also do instrumental activities of daily living. Instrumental activities are like using money, how you spend your money, how you spend your time, how you spend your money, how you spend your time, how do you do shopping, how do you use transport. So when a child is 8 to 9 years old, not when he is 8 to 9 years old, we always encourage our parents, when you are going for shopping, go with your child. Don't leave your child behind when you are doing shopping, because you'll be like, every time I go to the shopping, my child will always throw tantrum, because you have not exposed the child to the environment. So because one day they need to be independent. How will you send your child to go to the shop and buy maybe to go and buy something for himself, or you want to send the child to aende kiberiti hapo kwa duka? So we need to train these kids how to be independent in all ways. How do they spend their time? They have to have a schedule. They should not always play, maybe after school, they should not just play, eat and sleep. They have to have a routine, so that when the child grows up, knows that how to spend time. Then on how to communicate, maybe using a phone, but this is when the child is 8 to 9 years old, so that this child who has limited communication, when this child can't tell you on this, maybe the child can be able to use a mobile and maybe write a text. But that's also a long-term goal, when the child is able to achieve milestones and independency. So in occupational therapy, we are always aiming at independency of the child, and also the child achieving the milestone, not delaying so much according to the chronological age, so that we are able to promote independency. Thank you so much. Any question?
question is on occupational therapy. What is the upper age limit at which you can still continue doing the same occupational therapy?
I think I did upper age for the child or for the child. Therapy is continuous. Therapy is continuous for every child as long as you feel your child is delayed somewhere. The occupational therapy is ready to help. It's a rehabilitative department. So anytime an occupational therapy can come in for a session. Okay, thank you so much.
I think we can give RISPA a clap. That's amazing. Thank you so much, RISPA, for taking us through. We've had from two therapists, and now we'd like to transition to hearing from at least one parent before we come to listening to Dr. Pradeep, who would like to welcome after this. So here with us today we have one of the parents with a child with autism. His name is Jonathan Matet, and he's from Technical University of Kenya in Mombasa, and he's come with his colleagues who we will introduce. And so we'd like to welcome him to come speak to us, give us his experience with the child, and give us a bit about his journey, so that all the other parents can be able to relate to the story a little bit more. And give him a clap as it comes.
Thank you so much. Maybe point of correction. My daughter is hearing impaired. So I'm Jonathan Metet, as you have heard, from Technical University of Mombasa. I work in the finance department, but appointed by the Vice Chancellor as a disability inclusion champion. Also, I sit in the disability mainstream committee, and also other committees for the university. Sorry, okay. So as I was saying, you can hear me. Okay. Okay, maybe I can repeat again. My name is Jonathan Metet, a parent of a child with disability. My daughter lost hearing after a long battle with illness. She's 21 years. She's in a deaf school. So also I work at the Technical University of Mombasa as the disability inclusion champion, appointed by the Vice Chancellor. And also I sit in the disability mainstreaming committee and other committees in the university. I'm also a board member, St. Paul Charera Special School in Kericho, and chairman for GSS. Also a member of the drafting team for the Mombasa County Disability Mainstreaming Policy. Also work with Kilifi County and different other networks you can follow on Facebook. So my journey started with my daughter was ill for a very long time. She was born in 2003. So we were going to hospital from one place to another in Coast, here in Nairobi, different specialists. Also in Professor Macharia, ENT specialist, Danica Hearing Center. And then apart from ENT complication, she could not also stand or walk, so it took the efforts of the Coast General Hospital to do physiotherapy. Until now, she can now walk, stand, and do so many things. So despite the challenges that she faced, she has several talents like dancing, Scottish, several other drama activities, and also music. And also she does so many things like fashion. She likes fashion or makeup, what do we call it? Makeup, So she likes doing all those things. So I started advocacy in the last 13 years. So when I was looking for a school for my daughter, She was rejected because of the disability in 3 schools. But now then we decided when she was joining class 4 that we took her for assessment at IAC, that is Educational Assessment Resource Center. So we took her there, and then we were advised that she's supposed to go to a deaf school. That is in 2014. Then she started a journey in a special school. So she started learning sign language. We also started using some of the signs are normally common. So we also learned as parents the sign language. So she was in Kibarani School for the Deaf. Then we transferred to St. Kisito Platain School for the Deaf in Kericho, where she did KCB, and she joined St. Angela Mumia School for the Deaf. So it has been a long journey, which I may not be able to explain because of time. But so when I experienced those challenges, I was now inspired to advocate for persons with disabilities, not only deaf, but all the disabilities, all categories of disabilities. I use Facebook page and a Jonathan method, also WhatsApp networks. I'm in several WhatsApp groups for BWD across the country. I also use media, national media, like the TV and the radio. They normally call me for talks on issues of disability. So actually it took time, maybe as a parent, you look for different ways. You want your child actually, why is my child not standing, not walking? My child cannot talk. So you make several trips from different hospitals. But later on, we accepted the situation. Once you accept the situation, that is now when you can expose your child to opportunities that are available, like in education, social life. Because I can remember there is a time in the neighborhood, the neighbors, the children had bicycle. But you know us, because we might think maybe what happens, she might be knocked down by a car, she might get injured. But at the end of the day, we decided we bought a bicycle, and she could ride a bicycle. So without any problem, though she has challenges in hearing. So now, while at the school, she developed different talents, and we just allowed her to do whatever she can, and we support her in education. So across the way, I've been dealing with different people across the country. So most of my story are featured in the social media. You can later on check Able Differently KBC. You can get my story there. Nation Media Group newspaper, the online, Nation Digital. You can also get my story there, and and basically on Facebook page. That is where you can get a lot of story and what I do across the country on voluntary basis. Maybe those who are at Kise in 2022, I was one of the keynote speakers with Honorable Justice Laibuta and Dr. Sylvia. Those who attended Dar es Salaam, I was also one of the speakers and chairperson for the symposium, the International Conference for Autism and Neurodevelopmental Disorders. I also been one of the panelists for the Kibra Regional Conference at Pwani University, and also different forums that I'm invited to, like meetings like this one, to share my story and encourage other parents. So you find that mostly people, especially I don't know whether we have how many fathers of children with disability in the room. Do you have any? Or I am the only one? If you have any father of a child with disability, are you in the room? Fathers. Ama baba, sorry. Ama baba ambaye ana mtoto ana uadhilifu ama ulemavu. Kunayo moja. No, nataka tu baba tu kama mimi. I'm a father of a child with disability. Do you have? Simama. Kuna mwingine? So that is actually the real percentage on the ground. So you find that almost 90% or 95% fathers normally run away. Yeah, asante sana. Thank you. Normally run away and say that this disability is not coming from my family. So it's now pushed to the mat, which is a very wrong perception. So what I can say, I can see maybe all of you are mothers. How many mothers of children with disability in the room? You can raise your hand. Yeah, so I can say I congratulate mothers of children with disability. They are very strong. They say there is strength in women, but there is more strength on matters of children with disability or even fathers. Because they say a child with disability does not come with a manual, but it comes with a caring and loving parent. So I encourage you to push on and embrace your child. Don't ever lose hope. Whoever ran away, whoever left, we may not be in touch, but focus your energy on your child so that they can benefit from all the issues that the government is offering, like for the National Council for Persons with Disability. Like my daughter, I've registered with the National Council for Persons with Disability, and they came from programs offered by the National Council. So for those parents who are here, so you need also up to from 8 years or 9 years, then you can now start the process of medical assessment, so that now your child can be registered, so that they can be able to benefit from the programs like the cash transfer, tools of trade. We also have bursary. We also have LPO financing that can also be benefit them, and so many things. Maybe also representation in boards of school, board of management. They require persons with disability. So when they are grown up, they can be there, or parliament, even the Senate. But now if they are registered as persons with disability. So we are still also pushing other counties to do a disability policy so that we can also get a cake from our counties. Like Kilifi County, we already have a Disability Act. I'm following up with other counties. I was talking to Vihiga County and also Kericho County. We are pushing for the same. The problem is when we have the laws, the Persons with Disabilities Act number 14, 2003, Constitution of Kenya, and UNRCBD. But now the problem is the implementation that we need to push. And when parents, we come together with persons with disabilities wherever they are, we can push so that this thing can be implemented for the sake of our children across the country. So I do advocacy nationally and even across. My friend here, we met on Facebook, and I invited her to come for the KISE conference, and through I was able to meet the doctor. Another parent also from Zambia was supposed to come, but she didn't come. But we are in touch, and we are supporting this global advocacy for persons with disabilities. We need to ensure that when you are getting anything, equal opportunities, that you are being given, or they are being given as persons with disabilities or parents, not as a favor, but as a right, as per the provisions of the law. That is where we are supposed to head. Because even in employment, maybe for example, a hotel like this one, they should be having 5% of persons with disability. But now the focus, when somebody applies as a person with disability, the focus now goes to the assistive device that one is using. Instead of focusing on the person, you are supposed to see the person first before you see the assistive device, because he or she is a human being like any other person. So we should give them opportunities, and we make sure that we have ramps that will make persons with disability access and independent. We have washrooms that are accessible. So what we do at the Technical University of Mombasa, we run an inclusive institution. We have students with disabilities. We have also a deaf student On Monday, there is a student using a wheelchair. We have already admitted, gave him admission, and he's supposed to join on Monday. And in the environment, we are doing ramps, washrooms for persons with disabilities. We have rooms. So we advise the management, and through the management of University Council, that we remain inclusive and implement the affirmative action policy and also the laws. So I think time is up, but you can follow me on those mostly active on Facebook page, and then we can get discuss more. So thank you. I think you will give my colleagues to say a word. Thank you. Yes.
Let's give him a clap. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for making us aware of the opportunities that we have. One of the things that parents of children with disabilities lack is the kind of information that Jonathan is giving, like where do they really find the support they need. As much as you know about one or two places, maybe you don't really have the full scale of the information that could be useful to you as a parent. So I'm going to invite I'm shortly going to invite one more parent. Her name is Esther, and she's from Nyeri, and she has a child who also has a disability. You'll see that we're really focusing on the parents because we want to really give you guys support. We want to really make you feel the experience and feel like you're not alone. So we want to welcome Esther. Please give her a clap. Karibu.
Hi everyone. Hamjambo. Tutakologa yote leo. Okay, my name is Esther Kariuki from Nyeri County. I'm also a parent for a very beautiful girl. She's called Pascarina Wajiro. She's 13 years, a severe CP. She cannot walk, cannot sit. It's like a nature to me. Okay, my journey, it's a long story. I can start. I gave birth when I was 21 years old. I got married, but the father decided to run away when she's 2 years. It's a very, very sad story. I don't know why parents run away, especially fathers. We have that challenge in Kenya. I'm also a founder for Cerebral Palsy family in Kenya, also in Nyeri. I'm a mother of many kids living with a disability. I have almost 150 something for parents on that group. We have many. We also have a center still in Nyeri. It's called Cerebral Palsy Warriors Family Center. We usually do a day care center. So you know what we do? Parents usually give us the kids in the morning, they took in the evening, but we are 3 old months, we are not that old. I'm also a pioneer for Nyeri County. You know, I have a doctor here, she knows what I do. I also give them the wheelchair for free. We partnership together with Walkabout Foundation. Right now, I think what I can tell parents, when God give you that child, don't feel sad. Because that child make me who I am today. Right now, I think I do all Kenya, I give wheelchair for free. If you tag me in the Facebook, if a child have a need kids, we give it for free. Even I look for the transport, I make sure that kid have a wheelchair. Right now, I started on 2021. I think nimepeana wheelchair almost 1,000 and something in Kenya. I do Meru, I do Bomet, I do Karidi, those areas. So you must have the passion in this disability. Second thing, I don't love woye. I don't like that. Naitangwaje? Yes. Hiyo ndio wacha niongee kama hawajui. Hiyo ndio imeharibu wazazi wa Kenya kusema woye. Wacha sasa niongee kikwetu sasa. Because niko na hiyo forum. Unapata mtoto, mama amepata mtoto, lakini anaona mtoto is like ni mzigo kwake. We know, like mimi nimesaidia wazazi wengi sana, but sijaiona mtoto wangu ako na disability. Mtoto wangu ukienda uangalie Esther Karaoke, utaona mtoto wangu is like an angel. Niliambia Mungu, si mtoto ulinipea hivi. I never say oye. I make sure mtoto wangu amepata kila kitu. But in Kenya, unapatanga wazazi wengi ni woishe. But why? So we need to expect our kids. Those are gifts from the God. And I'm very, very, very happy for Mari. By the way, me you follow, nakuanga followers wanyu. You are doing a very amazing job because we lack of this. But I don't know why you put autism. Put a cerebral palsy there. I don't know why you put autism. Because cerebral palsy is that challenge we have a lot. Simnajua hivyo. CP inakuanga a lot of challenge. Juu huyo mtoto, kama wangu nilimwambia ni severe, 13 good years, hajai niita mom. 13 good years, hajai keti. 13 good hajai simama. He just there. But I thank God. I remember one day in Kenyatta, started daktari muna, aliniambia mtoto wako atafika 6 good years. Akufe. By the way. But no, she's 13 years. Even I have a doctor here, Dr. Midamo, is a pediatrician in Nyeri County. But it's a journey. It's a very long journey. And I wish parents we can come together. We come up with a policy. Hiyo dinara Kenya. Unajua hivyo? Because tuko hapa tunasema oye serikali. Ni nani serikali hapa? Huyu serikali. Huyu serikali. Good. Hiyo ndio ina miss Kenya. Juu kuna naonaga tu watu forum wakiwa, unajua mimi nakwanga from mingi watu wakisema serikali ifanyi, serikali, huyu serikali is you. Like me now, there's something I did in Nyeri County. Everybody know what I'm doing. Kuna hiyo mwenye mmeambio act. To make sure tumetengeneza hiyo act for disability. Na kuna Kenya you lack about caregiver. Nyinyi mnakwanga mmewekwa uko nje. Do you know that? Because right now I'm a parent, ndio. Nakaa kama niko na disability. But mtoto wangu ako kwa nyu. Nani atakuwa voice to the voices of others? Is you. But mkiambia mtokea disability wewe watu watasema nini? Don't do that. Be yourself. Naambianga watu, mimi kwanza wangu ukiona supermarket na kwanga ni hata ati mtoto anakaa hivyo achana na yeye ni wangu. Unajua wangu is like anakanga side moja is weak than the other. So yeye anakanga. Unamwambia achana na yeye. Because I love, that is the, yani unakuwa tunajaribu ku break the stigma in the society. But ukifungia mtoto from January to December ako tu kwa nyumba. Utaki saka saizi sikuna sani. There is sunshine day. Unapeleka mtoto out like the other kids. But the most of parents wanakuwa wamefungia watoto wao kwa nyumba. I wish even the therapists, we need to do that awareness. A lot of awareness needed to the society. Hata ukiambia uende ufanyie mtoto therapy in the home, don't do it. Ambia mzazi kuja na yeye. Hiyo ni readiness. Si ndio? Huyo mtoto atajua kwa attract na wazazi na watu lini. That unaonanga mtoto wa CP saizi umpeleke outside. Akisikia sound anashtuka. Juu hajazoea watu wengi. Ukimpeleka kwa chachi unaona mtoto hawezi tulia. Juu ya nini? Amezoea watu wawili kwa nyumba. Si ndio? I remember nilitoa story, a very sad story. I want to share this story. Kuna aridi. Alikuwa amekoboa nyumba 2 houses. Moja ni ya dota yake ako na CP, hiyo ingine ni ya yake. Sasa the other one alikuwa ametafutia caregiver. So all these friends hakuna mtu alikuwa anajua ako na mtoto wa CP. Even his family, most of the people wako wanajua kuna mtoto wa CP. So one day nikapigiwa simu, Esther, there is case here, we need to talk with this woman. Na nikamwambia ukweli. First thing, itikia mtoto wako. Juu alikuwa anaenda ni wale wanakuanga, unajua wanakuanga waduda happy. So unajua mkienda happy, wewe unajua. Sasa watu walikuwa wanauliza, mbona anapitia another mlango? Watu walikuwa wanajiuliza, huyu mama anaendanga wapi? So one of these friend akamfuata. Kumbe the girl, she's now I think 15 years. Alikuwa ametafutia caregiver, alikuwa amemletea 1 bedroom. Na alikuwa anakaa another 2 bedroom. Itaitwa aje? Stigma. So we really need to work about the break the stigma in the society. Juu sisi wenyewe hatujaitikia watoto. By this is not easy. It's not easy. So even, okay, we have another program for Mali. It's called Baby Obutu. I think I'm going to connect you to the Bed and Kids. Hiyo Baby Obutu ni ya kuitikia mtoto wako for stage 1. Juu tukiitikia watoto wetu, by the way, you can go far. Do you know that? Me right now, I'm a mother of mothers. And yani, I don't know what can I say. I'm still young, but I have a long journey to go. And I can say we have a very big center in Kenya. Because siku nilikuwa naambia mtu I want to go outside the country because here Kenya don't have a very good center for these kids. Still true. We don't have, by the way. We don't have, because you come to realize they mix our kids at the same class. Because we need a unit of autism, unit of cerebral palsy, unit of mental challenge. We need those classes, because if you come to cerebral palsy, just brain damage. That is not about, hiyo inakuanga just brain damage. Sidio? Hiyo tu ni mtoto, when the child lack the oxygen, kwa hivyo it means bado kuna akona kakitu kako. But if you come for autism, is another challenge. If you put a cerebral palsy kid here, autism here, mental here, all those categories for disabilities, you can see a lot of change. It's not the same class. So that's who you are lacking in Kenya. Even you tulisema huko special kise, that is lacking in Kenya. So I wish parent kindly, if you have, na kuna mtu naambianga tu, kwa hii Kenya, everyone is a candidate. Do you know that? Hakuna place tunakuanga tumesign utapata mtoto disability, unajipatanga na inakuanga so painful. Like my daughter now, she's 13 years, she's been form 1, sidio? But ako tu kwa nyumba, hana future. Unasikia mtu anasema, hey, my daughter, she want to become a doctor. Mimi nalianga, by the way. Because nakubuka wangu bado ako kwa wheelchair. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's a very, very painful journey, but we need na wanaume waache kupotea, by the way. I don't know why. Nataka mtu alifanya biology. Tuna daktari hapa. Juu mimi nilisoma biology, nikaambiwa nakuja napewa begu naweka kwa tubo. Mbona wanaume wanasemanga kwenu ndio kuna konga na urema? Sijui leo hiyo science. Mshikanisha hiyo science. Juu mimi niliambiwa, I was very keen to the biology. Wanatupianga nini? Tunaweka kwa. Mbona ikifika mtoto amekuwa na disability tunaambianga huyo ni wako, huyo ni wakuko kwenu. I think I need research to know, daktari, to know why. Lakini ukiona mtoto ako so bright, huyo ni wa baba. Boy child, we really need a lot of awareness in this society, by the way, because they believe it's curse. Yes. So we really need a lot of, I think we really need a lot of forum for this, talking about parents, even to the hospitals. Kuna time nakuanga na chapa daktari, because unajua hospital ndio inakuanga everything. Unajua hivyo, even hospital sometimes, by the way, we need to have a forum for everyone. We know where the tragedy is. So that is me. Thank you so much. Mimi naongeanga sana, msijali. I can be a teacher because I know how to teach. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Esther. That was so inspiring. It is indeed true that the weaker, but anyway, let me not start that conversation. But there's a gene that is weaker than the other one, and that carries most of those genetic disorders. So anyway, so now I'd like to give a chance to Angeline to come have a conversation. She spoke at the beginning, but I feel like some of us didn't really capture what she was talking about. And then after that, we'll welcome Daktari, and now he can be able to make his presentation. So welcome, Angeline. Please welcome her with a clap.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Earlier, I had tears in my eyes, and the 2 moms who are supporting me, thank you. They were crying with me. First of all, I want to tell the mother that just has spoken. I've traveled Africa extensively, and I live in South Africa. And believe me, Kenya is really having not good support from government, but South Africa has got private schools, and the private schools are where all the therapies is, but it's very expensive. Secondly, it is only parents with passion like you that can make sure there's a school and make sure there's progress. If it is not for parents, it will not happen. You have occupational therapists and all the professionals that are very passionate, but it's the parents that live with it every day that makes it happen, that know that change has to take place, and that force government into these things, into starting schools. So if you think Kenya is behind, South Africa is behind, US is the same. The most neglected area is the adults. So everyone spends a lot of money on when the babies and the child is small. Oh, they're wonderful, and you help them to progress, and then they get to 18, and then they're stuck. They go home and they sit in front of a TV and they regress. So yesterday, when we were at KE, Honourable Judge has put it so perfectly to say that there's different levels of, like my child was severe. Okay, so I also had an autistic boy that passed away last year. That is why I was crying my eyes out. He was like 39 years old. So for 39 years, I've been an advocate, and I traveled Africa. I've seen the good, I've seen the bad. And this morning in Zambia, there was a parent, a CP parent, that has asked this, that has put the question. Some people has told me that my child has been cursed. So I said, how can your child be cursed if God is a God of love? So why will he curse your child? I don't think that is what it is. But I had the experience of my own mom. All right, one day I left for a conference, and when I got back home, my husband said, because he likes drama. So he tells me, don't tell your mama I told you, but they were praying the devil out of your child. So I said, all right. I'm not upset. I'm not like anything like that. I understand. I'm not going to like ask her, but then she came herself. She said, you know, the priest was here and we were praying for your child and praying for your child. Then I said, okay, I'm happy that you pray for my child. So I wasn't going to get this into drama or argument, because my child became very aggressive. And so they were then thinking that he's possessed or something like that. But we have to treasure our children as they is and give them each the best opportunity that we as a parent can give them. All right, that is all that we can do. Then I just want to say that I had a parent that yesterday when I was at KE tells me, don't talk to me about stem cells. Don't talk to me about this. So I said to her, look, I believe there's a place for everything in this world. There's a place for stem cells. There's a place for normal therapy, speech therapy. There's a place for pharmaceuticals. There's a place for everything, all right? Not one thing is going to work in isolation. So if there's a medication that works for your child, then you use the meds. If you have stem cells together with other therapies, then you use that, because you have to give your child the best opportunity that you can. And then the second thing that I want to say is people is all about money sometimes. And there was this man, I will never forget, I was in Uganda, and he is really very, very rich. And one of the parents told him, yeah, you can afford it for your child, but what about all the other kids that you cannot afford all the therapies? And so he stood up and said, money is like a tool to me, because I have the money, I can use my money as a tool for my child. So that was a light bulb moment to say, we don't all have the same financial means, but we do the best that we can with what we have. Okay. And lastly, I want to thank Doctor. Doctor, thank you for being here. Thank you for having the courage to be here. Thank you for taking your time, because there's a lot of doctors out there that want to shoot down a tablet or a pharmaceutical that you can use, or shoot down cell-based, or shoot down anything. But thanks for having an open mind. And thank you for, I hope that you will be there for us, that if we want to do something for our children, that we have the right to try. We have the right to try. It's not to say if I want to pray that it's wrong, because some people say, oh, don't pray. If you pray, who says it will work? Yes, there is people that use prayer for their own advantages, all right? There is pastors that will pray that is not really real. Cell-based therapy is the right to try. Myself, my child was on risperidone, all right? It was very difficult for me to see him on there, but to calm him down, not to attack us every day, because he was attacking us, like putting me on the ground and pulling all my hair out. So, and then they had to help me. So I know what aggressiveness is. And I appreciate the fact that you came. And I hope that you will help us all, and that you will be an advocate for all of us. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I want to thank the parents that's sitting here from 9 o'clock this morning. Thank you, sir, for being here. Thank you for the parents that's still on their seats. Thank you for Mali team that is still on their seats, that did not run away. Thank you, Jonathan, and thank you, Doctor, for being here. And so I would like for you to introduce our next guest.
Let's give Andeline a clap. Thank you so much, Andeline, for speaking to us. And now we'd like to welcome our very, very special guest, Dr. Pradeep, to speak to us. Please be attentive. Let's welcome him with a clap. Yes, yes. Would you like to?
Hello. Hello. Before I start today, let me, with folded hand, apologize you for being late of the starting of the event. Unfortunately, there was an incident in the morning, but that is rectified now, and we are back in the same profile the way we wanted to start around 10, but we got delayed by 2-3 hours. So I apologize for being late. The second part of my talk will be, let me have a gratitude and respect to the organization Mali Therapy Center, Andeline, who made all the efforts to come here, to bring me here to you. Before we go ahead, I'll just give a brief outnote of my work. By training, I'm a neurosurgeon working with the medical school as an honorary professor. I work as a faculty for teaching the postgraduate degrees who complete their masters in medicine, surgery, and other faculties, to give them the fellowship program of 2 years. Fortunately, those who are doctors and they can spread that, they have an opportunity to take up this fellowship, which will entitle them officially registered degree to practice regenerative medicine in their life, to start the practice of stem cell therapy. This is a regular Government of India approved program, which is globally accepted, and we accept all foreign students for this program. Then there's one more opportunity for the medical doctors here in Kenya. We have another program of American Board of Regenerative Medicine. It is a US degree, which gives a diplomate of American Board of Regenerative Medicine, that is stem cell therapy. which gives entitlement for you to practice globally any country as well as USA and India also. This is a global degree, that is Diploma in Regenerative Medicine, offered by Certified Board of Regenerative Medicine of USA. So we at STEMRx are academic, research, and therapeutic applications for the patients. The research is a primary interest, and for your knowledge, science as on today is a very dynamic. It will keep on changing. What I advise you today may be wrong tomorrow. What I'll wish to advise tomorrow may be wrong day after, because newer aspects of molecular science which work and cellular level are coming up, which will overpower the treatment what we do as signs and symptoms from pharmacological science. So this is a new science which we have introduced now, which works on the molecular level. To start with my talk today, we focus on certain aspects of unmet need of the diseases. Unmet need means there are diseases in the world where there are no treatments in the standard medical care. We enlist them from every faculty. Like you can talk of autoimmune diseases, least you can count a number of diseases are there for like your own type 1 diabetes in the children's, multiple sclerosis in adult, rheumatoid disease, ankylosing spondylitis, then Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis. You list them, you have hundreds of diseases where in the standard care we really don't have any treatment. We go on steroids, we go on bone marrow depressants, we go on drugs modifying the disease or disease modifying drugs, and which are highly toxic to the body, and you are left on your future with the complication of the disease and complication of the drugs. Similarly in the cancer, similarly in the developmental diseases like children's who have developmental problems like autism, cerebral palsy, ADHD, dyslexia, you talk and list them, a number of conditions are there. Some children are left with voice loss, speech loss, some of the children left with hearing loss, some of the children left with vision loss, some of the children are left with the what you can call physical disabilities. Now these children, they remain as a burden to the family, to the society, to the community, and to the country. The pain for the families who come into marital relations to develop the family, they have future generation children, and when you find these children with a great hope, you have been making a family and they are disabled, either brain-wise disabled or physically disabled, visually disabled, hearing disabled, you talk of anything, they are disabled. The entire family gets big shock. The entire life opportunity to do anything is lost for all of you. And then when you come to standard care and you find there are no solutions, what do the parents do? It's a big question mark, and they desperately start looking what else can be done. What else can be done? My doctor has said nothing can be done, nobody can treat your child. But remember, science is dynamic. Every day it is changing. For all the disabilities, today I say the disability story is the past. Disability story is the past. If you ask me where we are today, the story of disability says the handicapped needs to do their livelihood, make an earning, social life and family life, which we call as a disability, maybe in any form. And when I say disability is the past, means with the technologies today, with the artificial intelligence, peptide science, then you can go to growth factor science, then you can go to microcurrent science, then you can go to magnetic science, then you can go to hydrotherapies, then you can go to changing the cellular structures, then taking into consideration of stimulating factors for the cells and proliferation of the cells. This all is possible today because we are in the era where we are not working on the pharmacological drugs which treat with the signs and symptoms, but we are working on the live cells by which your body is designed, by which your body is designed. I'm going to give you a beautiful example for you why you should look into on new optional treatments when you don't have standard care treatments. You can imagine, I'll tell you a story. Now these walls and houses what we see make for us, every 2 years you go for maintenance, coloring, repairing the job, am I correct? Then there are cracks, you fill up those cracks and maintain the house for the lifetime, correct? Now when your walls or houses are made of cement, then tar, steel, sand, what do you use to repair these cracks in the wall or painting in the wall? Do you use plastic? Can anyone say? Do you use plastic? What do you use then? Same cement, by which the wall is made up of, correct? Then when the disabilities in the children are there, do you use drugs which are like paracetamol, antibiotic, antihypertensive? Are they going to repair you or just treat the symptom? When I put a plastic on the wall, I'm hiding the disease of the wall, right? That is what you are doing in the life. You are hiding the symptoms and the disease remains as it is. When you put a plastic on the wall, you may not see the cracks, but the wall is become weaker and weaker and weaker, right? To avoid that, you put a plastic. Suppose if you use the cement and repair it, the life of the wall will improve, right? It will maintain the strength, right? Similarly, now all the diseases, do you want to put a plastic of pharmacological drugs which are not giving result to you? So we have to standardize and look into the science. Yes, my body is made up of cells, right? These cells come from the bone marrow. So I have a standard similar examples of stem cell sound. Now you go around with the bike driving, car driving, and you meet an accident and you get a fracture, right? So you go to the doctor, orthopedician like me, and then I'll check an X-ray, come out with the finding and tell you there's a fracture in your bone. Am I correct? Doctor will tell you or not? Yes. Now, once he says, then he will ask his assistant to put the plaster, correct? Then he will give OTC drug. OTC drug means which you can buy without prescription, like paracetamol, crocin, vitamin D, calcium, right? You can buy anywhere. Now after 3 weeks to 6 weeks, he calls the patient back and takes the X-ray and sees and tells you fracture is fused, right? And you feel very happy. Yes, doctor has done a great job. But doctor has done nothing. I have not gone in your body to do some welding to the fracture. I have done a welding? No, I have done nothing. Correct? The bone marrow has filled or fused that fracture. Is it correct? Now the second part. Whenever you do officially welding of 2 steel rods, you will get extra welding material, right? At the joint. Then what you do? You rub it with some eraser and bring it to normal level, correct? So that you should not see the joint. Now after another 3-4 months, patient goes back to show the follow-up of the child and he takes the X-ray. Now this extra bone is not seen, neither fracture line is seen. Now I give 2 examples to you. One is a physical example where we are sitting, which we realize as a house, wall and all those physical structure, not living structure. We are living structure. Now in both the examples you need to understand the material with which the object is made, whether it's a plastic, whether it's a wall, whether it's a human body, requires to repair the same material by which it is made up of, correct? You cannot repair with the wall with the plastic. Similarly, you cannot repair your bones, your cells, your muscles, your brains with the drugs. They will mask the symptoms and the disease keeps on increasing. Is it understood now for you? I made a very simple understanding for you. What is the role of cells in your body? The role of cells in your body is to maintain wear and tear. The way fracture is healed by bone marrow, any problem of the brain, kidney, liver, diabetes, Parkinson, Alzheimer, muscular dystrophies, type 1 diabetes, diabetic complications like you can say complications by which your leg goes gangrenous, your kidney goes failure, your eyes lose the vision. All these are the gift. Have you been seeing diabetic patient taking drugs for years together? These drugs of insulin, oral anti-diabetic drugs, have they stopped their progress of the disease into failure of the kidney, retinopathy? They are progressive. Still you are taking drugs. So understand the difference between the technology which I'm going to talk you now. Whatever you are doing today is treating signs and symptoms, but the disease will remain as it is in your body. The science has changed the platform coming from the pharmacology to biology now. We have come on the application of biology. Does mean, biology means cells, cell structures, cell products, cell required functions, whether it's an animal, whether it's a plant, whether it's a bacteria, whether it's a virus, whether it's a human being or anyone. It can be repaired by their own cells. Is it clear for you now? Anybody has doubt? Now looking, can we apply this science? If you see my visiting card there, I have mentioned a word called you carry your repairing tools in your body. The tools are in your body and you are forgetting the tools we have got to repair our body, and what we are doing? We are taking paracetamol, right? We are taking antibiotic, antihypertensive, mood changing drug, suppressant drug, bone marrow suppressant drug, steroids. All these are drugs which are toxic to the body, and we enter the disease, and disease never ends till you go to the hospital, become a permanent patient of the doctor. Today he will change one drug, tomorrow he will change second drug, third drug. But can we think of, can we cure complete now? I don't want to go again and again. I want to cure the disease. Yes, stem cell therapy, not only that, cell-based therapy, regenerative medicine, artificial intelligence will bring you a back complete normal life, as if you were not having any disease. I have patients here sitting amongst you who have done a treatment with me, and they have enjoyed this journey coming from bed sleeping to the normal moment life when they have failed from the standard medical care. Now, let's start with today's science working on advanced regenerative medicine and integrative therapies. Integrative therapies does mean, along with mainstream of drug, that is living drug stem cell, what are the things which we can integrate to activate and repairing process in the body? Those I'm going to add for you here. Can I change the slide? Now here you will see in the next slide. No, next slide has not come, please. It has not come, still not come. Yes. Now you can read the line, you carry your own repairing kit in your body. This is the power of your body, and these are the only assignments what I do globally, whether with all the hospitals where my biggest posting is assistant professor in Indian University. I teach regenerative medicine in USA basically and practice in India. So I keep shuttling between US and India, and I'm a diplomat of American Board of Regenerative Medicine. And I have a privilege to practice any part of the world. Next. Next. Where are we? I'm here with you now in Kenya. Why I'm here? This is a big question. Because the transformative sciences are not reaching to the really needy people. The progress of the science, certain countries are going little slow. So I'm here to understand the beauty of new science with me, which is going to change the entire concept of the treatment for you. What you feel today, it cannot be done, and I have to live with same disabilities, same problems, same pains. I have to adapt. Same disabled children is a past. Is it clear for you now? It's a past. It doesn't exist today with the new science which is coming with the biological science. Next. Now, when we talk of we can undergo various treatment. Keep on doing it. There are images you can see. Keep on doing it 2-3 times. Now, if you see the facility which I have developed is called a smart technology. Smart technology means the technology which is going to repair you with the smartness, within philosophical novel technologies, which are the really futuristic applications which will come in the mainstream down the line 10, 15, 20 years. But being here with you today, why I'm here? Because that 15 year, 20 years technology which you are going to get after that, before today you can get it that. That is the beauty of my visit here. Next. These are the facilities, our new facility. These are the facilities what we have got. Here we have a facility of 5,000 square foot of dedicated research lab which is US FDA approved. Plus it has got NABL license, so that the quality what we make the cells is absolutely high grade quality. There's no compromise. Why you should come to STEMRx? The experience and expertise with the STEMRx are academic, research, plus developing innovative, novel, therapeutic technologies, where when we don't have any solution for any disease, STEMRx brings you the solution by using your own body cells, microcurrents, magnetic resonances, high speed ultrasound waves. These are all beautiful sciences which can repair everything in your body, everything in your body. Now, in addition to this expertise, what I spoke just now, recently, last 1 month, I told you, everything keep on changing. I have introduced a most advanced technology in the world which will repair every disease in your body. Whether you are lost vision because of diabetes, whether you are lost vision because of optic nerve injury, because of retinopathy, because of your retinitis pigmentosa, macular degeneration, you talk of the disease, you can get the vision back. Don't you find it's a miracle if you get the vision back? Yes, no? It is something mind-blowing technology which will work on the principle of your, when we eat glucose, we eat carbohydrate, yes or no? To create the fuel to the body, to produce some kind of energy for the body, the carbohydrates are taken, right? Now, this entire technology is based on carbohydrate metabolism and stem cells. The only two technologies are based on this. And this can repair your visual loss, your kidney failing, your heart failing, your liver cirrhosis, your brain Alzheimer, Parkinson's, dementia, autism, cerebral palsy, as well as ADHD, dyslexia, diabetic complications of diabetic foot, plus type 1 diabetes, autoimmune diseases, what I spoke just now. If I integrate these 3-4 sciences, I have a commitment to you. Before you come from my place, that is 2-3 weeks, you will see the changes in your life, which you are seeing deterioration today. If you're going down, you'll start coming back again. The curve of your graph of life will change. Your curve of life will change. Instead of going towards the bedridden life in the hospitals, 2 days in the hospital, 5 days at the home, and we spend the whole life that. Children's, the mothers who are so kind, passionate to give the best quality to their life, they will start seeing changes in their child, which is more of a family building concept to lead a social life very strong, and our futures are protected. Everybody wants my child should do a better job than me. Everybody wants my child should have better position than me, right? He should educate more than me. So for which you have taken all the efforts of hard working. Am I correct? And then when you find this money is not doing anything for my child, everything is gone. And then the real story of life of pain starts when the children grow up. We have to see, can we reverse the disease? With the technology, with expertise of STEMRx, we can work on then the science I told you how it is going to change for everything. Now, excellence. The excellence is the part of the system where you will get the best quality of molecules, best quality of therapies, best quality of using protocols, which will make your patient, I would say rather children's, to the adult, to the aging disease, everything will go up, improving, which otherwise it was a fate for you to go down, and get a bedridden life in the hospital. And equity, medicine or science doesn't see which country you are from, which community you are from, which society you are from. Medicine and science doesn't see. It crosses, it doesn't have any barrier of any religion, any country, anything where you come from. What are you for? Science is equal to everyone. Your body, go to US citizen body, go to South Africa, their body, go to India, go to Japan. There is no change in the composition. The science is that understood now. We make those changes, but science doesn't make changes. So we have an equity. Whoever comes, whatever comes, science has to deliver justice to a human being, not to community, not the country, to the human being. So we follow the principle of being good human being. So getting into a humanity science is a big achievement. Next. So we work on these principles to see that patient, I would not say patient rather, a person who comes with the problem goes with the smiling face, not with the crying face. Why chose India as a treatment? Remember one thing. You search out globally, all the countries. There are three patterns. One is the most developed country, which we cannot afford. European and American continents or Australia, we cannot afford the treatment, right? But for you, Africa is upcoming the way India was 20 years before. I have seen 20 years before India. I am saying today, Africa. So I know the way development is going in Africa, it is going towards upside now. But that journey will take 20 years to come to that level. You are getting me? So India is a country who is a balance between underdevelopment and super development. So it has got science at a rate possible, affordable, and with the same commitment of technology what you have got in US, Europe, Australia, any developed country. So this makes you comfortable as far as cost effectiveness and getting same thing what you would have got in the best of countries. Apart from that, India has a regulation which gives for new technology to progress more. New technology, which most of European American continent doesn't have. There are a lot of restrictions, a lot of reservation. So there are reasons we should think why we choose India, why we choose Temarx Hospital, which I explained you next. So looking at how do we reach me? To reach me, there are approaches from my digital platform, my team who works in South Africa, here in Kenya also. Pauline looks after a lot of effective treatments, which I do in India, then the children go to her center, and she has seen wonderful results. I'll request Pauline to add 2 sentences before I go ahead about the children's, what you see changes in, because she runs a very expert center here. She has a science knowledge, she upgrades the systems here, and I keep on guiding her to do more and more better. What is you have seen?
Thank you.
Children's, they come to you.
Thank you, Doctor. So what we have seen mostly is improvement in cognition. And that one you cannot, I think we have so many people from Mali here, and we have seen that when the children come back from treatment, we have seen improved cognition, we have seen settling down, hyperactivity really goes down, and yeah, those, he said 2, he told me 2. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Why I made her talk to you? Because she's a professional practicing in Kenya, particularly in Nairobi, running a professional center with all possible knowledge to deliver the best. And when your children come back from STEM-RX, she will take care of those children to give the same line of treatments. So your children are not left when you come back. So your children will have a similar treatment. That's the reason STEM-RX delivers you the best. Now, what is disorders treated at STEM-RX? As I told you, brain disorders, number of diseases I told you, orthopedic disorders. We have a patent for orthopedics, particularly for joint, muscles, tendons, back, disc, which works, it is called as an bone and bone marrow are one organ. And anything which develops from a type of cell 1 can be repaired, all the organs which are coming from that cell. Similarly, the way I give an example of wall. Understood now? Then autoimmune, I spoke. Metabolic diabetes, I spoke. Hypothyroidism, wonderful treatment. What we have a system in hypothyroidism is under ultrasound guidance, very high sensitivity probes are there, which will show the entire structure of thyroid. And we deliver the stem cells in the capsular plane of the thyroid, which will correct the hypothyroidism beautifully for you. Similarly, then we can go to muscle disorders like dystrophies, poliomyelitis. All the diseases are losing the muscle mass, becoming fibrotic. And once the muscle becomes fibrotic, it loses the life of contraction, movement, and children become disabled. These are the painful things in the life, and there are no standard treatments. You have to live with the same then. Then what we do here, we advance cell transplant developed from the muscle fibers itself. We develop the muscle fibers, muscle cells, and transplant them, and then give the microenvironment which is required for the cells to become complete muscle. That is how we can treat all muscle disorders. Eye disorders, I named out you for disorders like retinitis pigmentosa, macular degeneration, traumatic optic nerve injury, diabetic retinopathy, retinal detachment, retinal degeneration, rod and cones. All these diseases can be worked out to get the vision which is socially acceptable for take care of your day-to-day life. Some of them may get much quality of vision also, but everybody will be bestowed with the vision back. Otherwise, eyes are lost, eyes are life. You just imagine for a second, close your eyes and imagine, if I lose my eyes, what is a life? What is life? Just imagine for a second, your hairs will thrill out and you will put tears in the eyes. No, I don't want that life. Understood? It's a painful. So all these technology, neurological disorders, then other disorders like you can say cancers, very well treatments are done. Then there are diseases which are caused by drug poisoning. I have yesterday met your honorable judge here, High Court judge. He lost his vision because of chloroquine toxicity. Imagine, drug toxicities could do anything. Hearing loss, vision loss, brain problems, all these could be repaired using the technology which I am going to talk to you today. Next. Now, what are the stem cells? Before I go ahead, because in entire all the technology I told you, regenerative medicine becomes a central part. There's a part which is central and assisted by integrated sciences, which I told you already. Now, stem cell, you have been hearing, reading in the paper, media is talking, go to any conference. There are many doctors may be coming in Kenya, many centers may be talking about stem cells. But how many of you know what is a stem cell? You're meeting all those people, reading in the Google. Anybody has an idea what is a stem cell to say? I'll explain you what is a stem cell now. Look at this embryo. This embryo is a single cell developed in your womb by a sperm coming from the father and ovum coming from the mother. They fuse together and make an embryo. Now this embryo is a single cell. And look at your bodies, how big your bodies have developed from this cell which you cannot see. By even your naked eyes or even regular microscopes, this cell cannot be seen as developed, fused in the mother's womb. And mother will never realize there is a baby growing in the body. In the first few days, when you cannot see your own generation, where you have started your journey. Your real journey of life is started here. When and sperm fuses with the ovum. Now this carries the genes 50% coming from the father, genes 50% coming from the mother. Never forget, this 50% gene represent mother, 50% gene represent father, and a new life starts with a new genetic material. Got it now? Now the child has a new genetic material, which 100% doesn't belong to mother, 100% doesn't belong to the father. This life cell has a capacity to produce 150 trillion cells of your body. Your body 60 kg, 70 kg, 80 kg, 90 kg. Am I right? Where it has come from? From a cell which you cannot see. So imagine the beauty of nature. A cell which you cannot see makes 60 kg of cells in your body. 150 trillion cells. They are coming from this single embryo cell. How many organs are in your body? Anybody knows? Your body has got 222 organs. Different type of, from brain, skin, hairs, eyes, nose, lungs, heart, bones, muscles. You're getting me number of organs in the body? Where are they coming from? This single cell. Don't you find it's a magic? The power of this life? And the beauty, again I'll tell you, this cell is encoded genetic information of genes coming from the father and the mother. This information creates a new life of new genetic code. What is that code? Who is he? Is he male or female? What is going to be height? What is going to be color? Is he going to suffer from cancer? Is he going to suffer from any kind of other diseases? All is encoded in this cell. Now the cell which has formed as an embryo, having all this information of your genetic code, what do you call? When you go to astrologist, you ask about your life, no? So ask him your genetic code. The genetic code which says, who are you, what is your sex, what is your height, what is your color, what are your eyes, what are the disease you are going to suffer. That cell which keeps your genetic code information is called stem cell. Is it clear now? Science of stem cell? Science of stem cell says it is a genetic code, genetic information in your body. The cell which has got your life information is a master file of your life. And that master file of life is a genetic sequence which is present there. And this genetic sequence is controlled by your lifestyle. I always say, genes don't dictate anything. Genes work on your lifestyle pattern. What you deliver to them, they will do that action. So believe these stem cells are the beauty of life which creates trillions of cells, which creates 220 type of organs, which creates the embryo, which creates the placenta, which creates a new life again to maintain the cycle of our life. If it was not there, we die and we don't have anything else left. So this is a very powerful tool. By the time of 3 to 5 days, this embryo becomes a ball of 16 to 32 cells. 16 to 32 cells. Now this ball of 16 to 30 cells, if this is 7th day where mother doesn't know she is still pregnant, and if by IVF technology, I take out this ball out, the way it is done IVF, to store the eggs of the mother and use in future. If these 16 cells I take out for the IVF purpose, and I do IVF with 16 women, and engraft with the technology of IVF, those embryos in your uterus. Trust, you can create 16 triplicate copies of your 16, the same copies, same color, same speech, same fate, same hair, same philosophy, same thinking, everything comes same as a replica of your. You remember the 1996? Dolly the sheep story of cloning had come in. How many of you know that? I don't know. But it was a big global news from everything. What is cloning? So this is called as a cloning effect. And then it was completely banned globally. Others, it would make a big disaster for the human race. So this is a science where we can make these cells of embryonic origin create our lives again. But it is banned. Now we understood the power of single cell. Can we not use these cells to repair your body then? When they are repairing your bones, they are repairing your extra growth, they can repair everything in your body. And as this baby grows more and more, the potency comes down and down. Now this is a baby which is forming. When it is born, it is a 2.5 kg. 2.5 kg, right? And what is your weight now? 60, 50, 80, 100, right? Yes, no? Now this weight comes from what? Where are the cells coming from? Pluripotent and multipotent stem cells which are present in your body. They are growing you. Now when naturally these cells can grow you from a 2.5 kg to 60 kg, they are repairing your cells by making new cells. Can you not think of, can I not use the same science which is happening in my womb, which is growing my body, to repair your body? It is so simple to understand. So it repairs your body, and at 60 kg, your body has got a huge number of cells in the bone marrow, in the fat, in the muscles, in the brain, which are maintaining your wear and repair. I'll give you a simple example. You get a liver disease like hepatitis. Does doctor give any medicine? He gives some kind of herbal medicine to make the functions little slow, and advised to take only carb food, not to load on the liver, and liver repairs of its own. Who does that job? Liver stem cells do that job. When you get a paralysis and you are away from Nairobi at a very peripheral center and accessibility to the hospital is not there, do you think he'll remain paralyzed as it is for the life? No. He will improve some function of the muscle by a natural way of repairing to sub 10-15% improvements in. Who does this 10-15% improvement? Brain stem cells do that improvement. From 10% with the stem cell technology, I take it to 60%, 70%, 80% by using stem cells and reparative technologies. Next. What are the characters of these cells? The cells have got a function to regenerate, they replicate, proliferate again in your body. They make the specialized cells like brain cells, liver cells, kidney cells, bone cells, muscle cells, and they make the differentiation of organ development. This is the power of stem cell. So we have to use the cell power, which is normally maintaining the wear and tear and growing your body from a 2.5 kg to 60 kg. If we use this power, I don't think you have to make that we cannot repair. Yes, you can repair. Next. In every organ of your body, there's an area called as a niche where your stem cells are present. And these cells, niche cells, produce the body progeny cells. These niche cells give the signals to stem cells to produce the progeny cells, means new cells. That is how normally body works. So this concept I have converted into a complete therapeutic protocol using cells to influence these niche cells to give stem cells more power to produce more and more till your organ is repaired. Next. Now, when we are looking at this science, we have to keep in mind what are the type of cells we have got in clinically to use for repairing. But we have one is called the embryonic cells when we take from the embryo, the one which I told you. Other cells we can take the way other story of bone marrow I said you. We can take from the bone marrow. I told you they are all in the fat. We can take fat. We can take muscle tissue. We can take brain tissue. We can take any other muscles in the any other even placenta, cord. All are even placental cord tissue, amniotic fluid, Wharton jelly, placental epithelial cells, placental chorionic cells. All these cells are there in the body or in the lab or in the biological discards, and we can use those cells for your repairing one. Recently, there's one more cell type has come in 2012 when the Nobel Prize was given to Shinya Yamanaka, who is a professor in US, working in, who is a professor from the Sakai University from the Japan, and working in California as a Yamanaka laboratory, where he has reversed the adult cell back to the embryo by using 3 factors which are called as CMAC, ENOG, and OCT2. They were used and bring this adult cell back to embryonic character. So normally what is thought, life is one side only. When you grow old, you cannot reverse. Now the science has proved biological age can be reversed. You can come down with the age also, create a new life also with these technologies. When you use your own cells, we call autologous. When we use next, allogenic cells. Other cells, when used from other cord tissue, placenta, amnion, we call them allogenic. When we are used from bone marrow, in the adult, we have sources from the brain, which I said you, dental, labia bone, hematopoietic, which make the blood. These make the tissues, bone, and all those. Muscle, I told you, adipose, I told you, testicular cells, I told you, or ovarian cells, I told you. These cells are present in your body, which we can use for your own repairing job. Next. Autologous therapies from cells taking from the bone marrow of your own body, fat, muscle, dental source are autologous therapies. Younger the age, we have more quality cells. As you grow older, cells become little older. Now, their job in your body, as I told you, why we should adopt this technology. The first is, it is 100% safe. It is 100% safe. The curiosity should be coming in your mind, why doctor you are saying they are 100% safe? People talk so many times, they can become tumorogenic, they can reject. People talk, right? But always remember, half knowledge is very dangerous. It gives a wrong information. Autologous stem cells belong to your body. They are already present in your body. They are already doing repairing job in your body. How do you expect they can be rejected? They can become any other cell, which is physiologically and naturally not possible. Not possible. So they safe and there are no side effects. Then they are efficacious, means they are doing their job of repairing. They are doing a job of their repairing. Okay? Can be done without surgery, without anesthesia. Kane, any problem to your dad? Kane? Any problem? Okay. Yeah. Okay. He is Kane's father. He was treated for paralysis, diabetes. He was unable to even stand, even walk. Now he walks with little support. And his kidney, he's still not gone on dialysis, though he has a renal failure. He has come twice to me, and he has extended life. You can imagine where from the bed, the quality of life is improved. So normally, I love my patients like my own children's my relatives. I give them the best, because when I say them coming back to the life, happiness is multiplied. It grows, happiness just grows. Next. As I said you, safe, non-tumorigenic, easily obtainable from the bone marrow fat, and no rejection and no ethical issues. Next. Now, from the bone marrow, we can have 2 types of cells, red marrow and yellow marrow. That red marrow makes the blood in our body, which is called the hematopoietic, whereas yellow marrow makes your tissues in the body. It's present in your body. Next. Now, I have taken a small biopsy from the bone to make your mind clear to understand. This is a section of histological picture in the microscope, which will show you cells which are becoming blood in the bone marrow, cells which are becoming the muscles, hepatocytes, stromal cells, osteoblasts, bones, liver, and brain cells. Next. I'm making visual impressions to you so that you will remember and you will not forget. Next. Now, ultimate goal of enabling these technologies is to repair our body. So, cell scaffold, regenerative medicine, and additional technologies. Next, main revamping general next, which ultimately goal is to repair our body. Now, why I'm showing this slide is, Albert Einstein once said, remember the most intelligent person on the earth, he is the one who has challenged the Newton's law of physics. From physical laws of physics, he brought it the new laws of what you can call the laws of molecular science. So conventional therapies are blocked, and when we work on pharmacological science, it will not repair. So we have to range thinking and use microscopic miracle worker stem cells for repairing you. And it is not a hype, it is a fact today. It was a hype 10 years before, but today it's realistically happening. Next. The ultimate goal of all this using technology cells, allogenic, MSCs, hepatocyte, beta cells, brain cells, their products is to either regenerate, restore the function, replace the tissue, or repair the tissue. So it is a 4R for your achievement. 4R is the structure which we use to give the delivery to you by using these kind of cells from your body. Next. The goal is to repair. Next. Now breakthrough force. This guy Michael Gullion is a very scientific reporter in US. He is closely known to me. I had in some meeting sometime, long time before. He wrote a sentence of his experience then before starting stem cells. I have thought a lot about stem cells, and I'm sure that when the historians look back at the 20th century, where we are today, the greatest scientific achievement will not be from the field of space technology. Going to Mars is not going to change your life from bed to standing. Neither the computer science can bring you from bed to the active life. Who can bring to your bed to active life is genetic engineering, genetic medicine, stem cell science only. And today, his words of 1999 are coming true. Next. We treat various conditions from international community as well as domestic community. They are in thousands. Next. If the ratio is we see, you may ask, doctor, which are the results? Very good. So I would say that the best results are in neurological conditions, children suffering, adult developing degenerations in the brain, adults developing a kind of dementias, Parkinson's, and then the second best results are in orthopedic conditions, bone diseases, muscle diseases, tendon diseases, bone injury, tendon tears, ACL tears, degeneration of the bones in the hip, that's called avascular necrosis. In the orthopedic conditions, particularly joints, knee and hip and shoulder, I have a clear understanding. I give patient a commitment. Same joint, lifetime. No replacement of the joint. No replacement of the joint. This you can keep in mind. Then we come to like other conditions like multiple sclerosis of autoimmune disease, ankylosing spondylitis, rheumatoid disease, type 1 diabetes. Then we go skeletal diseases, other like DMD, LGMD, PMD, bone, diabetic gangrenes, cosmetic, liver cirrhosis, elephantiasis, COPD, then OCD, ED. All these treatments are not present in the standard medical care. So we look into how we can change. So these are the conditions we do at STEMRx. Next. Developing brain. Can you see the face of this child? Very innocent. Very innocent. He is not connected to what you are talking. Even if you get not smiling at the child, but the small child doesn't know you, he'll just give a smile, silent smile. He doesn't know who are you, but he smiles. So that means this brain is very innocent. Very innocent. Now this innocent brain is interacting with, if you get angry, he will cry. But if you smile, he will smile. He doesn't know the meaning of it, but fear creates in it. This anger, when you talk to the children, take them battered get them angry of another, don't forget their genes are interacting with the environment, what you are giving to the child. The more you give decisive environment, the more child will express in the genetics to become aggressive. The genes will change. They will not respond futuristic for you. And they will develop a complete disorders of the brain in the social life also. Early development of the brain is highly sensitive. So always I tell you, a stem cell is like a brain child. He doesn't know what is going to happen. Similarly, stem cell doesn't know what is going to, whether he's become brain, whether he's giving a kidney. The moment you put in the environment, it will become that. Similarly, these children, you put in the environment, they will develop as per the environment. You have to experience this, then you will realize it. So this brain is very, very unison. Unison means the entire brain is connected to each other. Unison, it functions. The motor function can come only when he gets the information from the eye's ear. Otherwise, he doesn't get information. So it works in a unison, connected to each other. And this is a science which we are going to explore here of unison in autism, cerebral palsy. So one part of the brain may be normal, the other part of the abnormal, then the functions are affected in the brain. Next. When I was in medical school, my orthodox teaching has taught me neurons cannot proliferate, they cannot develop. You die with the reducing neuron but not producing new neurons, they go atrophic. And this was a philosophy developed only because, and then I was taught in the school, medical school, even today I teach, where I teach, I'd say brain is a complex organ. It's very difficult to understand. But in my opinion, in my studies, I can prove brain is the most simple organ of your body because the brain has got only one functional cell, that is a neuron. That is neuron. Whereas go to kidney, there are multiple cells to give the function. Go to liver, there are multiple function cells. So the repairing job is very easy when you're one type of functional cell. I have to deal with the only neurons to repair it. Whereas in other body, I had to repair other structures, I had to take so many different type of cells. And then we had, when I was studying in the school, I did not have access of molecular science, electron microscope. So I could not study the brain. I could not take the biopsy of the, anybody you have seen, they will take a normal brain biopsy. The moment you talk, you will run away. So we could not access to the science of brain that time. We did not have MRIs of today, which are called as 8 Tesla, 9 Tesla, where they can show even the molecular movement. If you're thinking, you're sitting in front of me, and you're thinking, and physically you'll say, I'm not thinking. But my advanced MRI, functional MRI, will show the function going in the cell. I can prove on the screen, though you say I'm not thinking, my brain MRI will show her or his cells are making metabolic function. So we can, that's the reason nowadays, if you know, they for lie test, they do it under sedation. If somebody is lying, murder cases or something cases, they use these technologies to prove that he's talking lie. So we have that much access to see on the function of the cell, what's happening. Next. So today, technology has assessed so much ahead. When I talk this, we can take the neurofeedback from the brain. Neurofeedback means what is happening in which part of the brain, what is going to happen, which functions are there, that we can access through neurofeedback, one. Second, we have technologies of various scans, PET scan, MRIs, then we have functional MRIs, volumetric MRIs, then we have scans, cardiac scans, brain scans. Now, so many technologies are developed which can give you the brain mapping. And this is a brain mapping power of STEM-RX, where this part is affected, we know the functions. This part is affected, we know the functions. This part is affected, we know the function. Octal area is we know the functions. Now, mapping gives a knowledge which part of the brain is affected. Once I know which part of the brain is affected, don't you think it's easy for me to repair that part? I don't have to go in other places, though I'll go to the direct centers of the brain which are affected and start my repairing work. Next. In development of children's, keep in mind, all children's are in the process of embryogenesis similarly. Similarly, there is no change. But you have to understand these sensitive periods. This is a line where the baby is born, birth. This is a line before birth, 9 months. And this is a line after birth, 20 years. Now from this, you should experience various colors are given: violet, green, blue, red, yellow. All these lines represent the functional part of the brain while developing in the womb of mother in first 9 months. These 3 lines, blue, red, and yellow, are going upwards, whereas green and violet line are coming downwards. What does it mean? There are certain functions to develop in the brain with the sensitive period, like developing and proliferation is the highest. When the brain develops, it has to develop 100 billion cells in 3 months. Can you see the development? And the development of new cells come down. Similarly, fetal cells come down. Whereas, you know the science of milestones when you go to the doctor asking your child whether my child is normal, whether my child is growing perfectly, whether my child has right milestones of walking, responding, smiling, crawling. All those are called milestones. These are the power of milestones. When you know these steps are going best, then you will see 3 lines perfectly going up. Perfectly going up. These lines represent developing connections of the cells. Having a myelin sheath fat layer on the cells, that when we have wires, we have insulation order. So make them insulation and synaptic developments. These are the things very important for your children when you talk of developmental diseases, particularly autism, cerebral palsy, ADHD, dyslexia, or any number of diseases where it's related to vision problem, it's related to hearing problem. All that can be understood from this pathology. And this is a science is based for me to treat your children, where I know which are the lines showing abnormality. This line is not gone properly. It means I have to work on myelination. I have to work on synaptic connections. So this makes a powerful tool for STEMRX to work on sensitive periods. Next. Now here, let me give a beautiful science of you. When your child is born in the brain, remember I'm showing a very powerful science today to you. When your child is born, see the number, these are the neurons, black spots are the neurons. And these wires which are coming up are the synaptic connections or axons connecting to each other. Now can you see when you are born the synaptic connections are very less? Can you see? They're sparse. Now at 1 month they are becoming denser. Why they are becoming denser? Because child is started with the eyes, hearing, and love, affection which he gets from the family mother. This gives a new development of connections. New learning process have started here. Understood? New learning process understood. This is called the milestone for you. Now, if this is affected, your child will have a problem. Understood the science now? Your child will have a definitive problem of developmental problem. There is no chance of saying no. Now, at the 3 months, it's still more dense. Look at 6 months. Very dense network established. By 1 year of age, your child will have a dense network on the brain. Very dense network. That is the reason if you see 1 year to 5 years, child has a very powerful grasp to understand. You know, you put into any environment, he learns. You put into dancing, you learn into music, child picks up very fast. You have seen nowadays, children pick up very fast. You see now, children are very intelligent nowadays. Why? These are the synaptic connections which are giving them the role to play. These are the synaptic connections which are giving role to play to you. Now, if you start your training, teaching programs, around 1 year to 3 years, these synaptic connections are so powerful to change the child. Whereas, we put our children at the age of 6 years, 7 years in the school for teaching when there are no synaptic new connections are developing more. And the learning becomes very difficult. So when you start exposing the child, earliest they will learn through the synaptic connection processes in this process. So I have an opportunity to find out the level of synaptic connections in you by by checking this technology, by using this technology and develop more connections, these are called the burning effects in physiology, in body. So I have to develop same happening in the brain by a molecule which I'm going to use it for you. So science becomes easy for you. He always said, Einstein, science is very simple. It is not complicated. Similarly, I say life is very simple. Don't make complicated. So this particularly functional slide says you, can we repair? Yes, we can repair. If you know the science. So science is very simple. And neurons have very strong characteristic, very strong. If you don't use your skills, your practice of science, practice of your work, learning processes, these neurons or these characteristic synaptic connections which are developing here will reverse back to the becoming spares. Because you are not using them. The connections forget and you become like forgetting those things. Now, in many parents call me and say, sir, we have taken a treatment and we are finding little reversal of the symptoms. Remember, treatment is not ultimate. You are ultimate, parents are ultimate. I am giving you the improvement in the development of functions, the improvement of synaptic connections. But your job is to maintain them. If you don't maintain, by practicing what I have done at home, the child will regress. And most of the parents I have seen, after treatment, they just leave the child. No, it will become normal. They have to take care that they go to right center. Mothers give right time with the child to the center, so that the processes which I have started of developing synaptic connections will continue more. If you don't do, there's a regression. So don't blame anyone in the world for regression. You have to blame yourself. You have to be responsible for regression, not the doctors. Because this is normal philosophy. I have shown you, if these connections are not used, they will become spares. So that is also in normal physiology happen. When I'm repairing, it's a physiology. So maintain it by practice. Next. Look, this is a neuroresolute brain is very easy to repair. I'm showing you a neuron in the brain. This is a cell body. This is axon. This is a cell which are called assisting cells, oligonucleotides, which make this cover, that is lipid cover, like that's insulation. And these are the ends of synaptic connection. The next slide, how the connections are there, I'll show you. Now, if you see the function of normal electrical impulse, I told you if you don't fire, it will disappear. Suppose this firing is not there, the connection here will become loose. It's a normal way. So that's the regression. I'm making it very easy for you to understand why there's a regression. If you don't follow properly, there will be regression. Now this firing, if you synchronized. Synchronized means like a symphony of music. It goes in a very beautiful way. It will not even have 1% resistance. Even 0.1% resistance will not be there. It flows very uniform, synchronizing like you play a beautiful music. It works like that. Suppose when you are playing a beautiful music, some abnormal sound comes. Everything is lost. That music is lost, that symphony is lost. Similarly, something abnormal happens around the cell, inflammation, a trauma, a virus, or making neuroinflammation. The contacts will start dying. As I told you, neurons cannot die. Only these connections will die. The myelin sheath will die. At my level, I have to get these connections back and bring them back to this level. So it is very much which we do it like. Next. So when can this happen in your body, when the damages can happen? Is either before delivery, the baby is antenatal care. Mother should not, I'm giving you a philosophy of, you may have a question, doc, I have a daughter now and I want a child male. My daughter is autistic. I'm worried whether my daughter or son will be again autistic. Is it a genetic? You will be worried. So I'm giving a solution to you. The repairing job of the brain comes by taking antenatal care. What is antenatal care? You should not smoke. You should not drink. You should have a healthy food. You should have a sound sleep of 8 hours. You should not take a stressful days when you are in antenatal care. That is going to change the outcome of the child, and chances of not going into a poor myelination, all those will not be there. So remember antenatal disturbance in the brain. I told you brain is interacting constantly. Give a best environment, the brain will remain best. Cell, it will not affect your migration of cells. It will not affect the genetic expressions which are going bad. During birth, at the birth, whenever there is a bleed, when there is a section because of complications, doctor goes for the section. Whenever there is a problem in the form of going and bleed in the brain or delayed cry, we call an Apgar score in this medical language. My child has cried 5 seconds late, 10 seconds late. Remember, brain is highly sensitive, very, very sensitive. The impulse of the brain is so much so, even I cannot touch it. It is more than your cable fires which are using for internet. They are more faster than that. So remember, a lack of blood supply for 10 seconds is sufficient to kill the brain cells. So antenatal is very important, and postnatal. After the delivery, you should see, before delivery, you should see that you should not have any viral infection. So you should test yourself for a torch test, and you should precaution take that you will not get a viral infection. Suppose after the delivery, child has a icterus jaundice or has a convulsion, fever, loose motions, anything like that, immediate action is very important. Otherwise, there's a big chance of affecting the brain development, connections between the brain cells. Understood now? They affect the brain. Now, understood the pathology, why your children can have a problem, and what precautions you take. So my science, me at STEMRX says, to give a prevention methods for you also when you come to me. So be protected for the future pregnancies also with STEMRX. They will guideline to you also. This is the beauty of STEMRX. Next. Now, what are the conditions we treat? This is a brain with different parts. If you can see, read out those parts. I don't want to tell you this because it will take a long time. The treatment, I already repeatedly said the names of the diseases like ADHD, delayed development, Down syndrome. All these are treatable. Guillain-Barré syndrome, tinnitus, facial palsy, spina bifida, Alzheimer, ALS, that's atrophic lateral sclerosis, spinal cord injury, or accidental injury of brain damage causing you paralysis that we call the CVA. All are repairable. Next, at STEMRX. Let's few slides on autism, I'll tell you, to remove the concept in your brain, which is wrong, because people have got a lot of myths about the science, and they feel our children cannot improve. There are a lot of snake oil shops in the world. We have to select the right place for right treatment. Somebody may be giving a little cost, doesn't mean he's going to give. Alone stem cells doesn't do anything. Doesn't mean that you are going to get the result. For result to get, you need to work on the principles which I told you already in a basic concept. What we have to do. If those concepts you can match, the child has to improve. There's no choice. Now, autism, affected symptoms you are near, I don't have to tell you. Causes, nowadays, I'll add some small sentence written beyond that. This genetic, I'll explain a little more for you. The rest of the factors I already explained you. Genetic. Earlier, 2 years before, not I'm talking long time, 2 years before, we never knew whether the genes are affected or not. Today, in these 2 years, science has gone so much ahead. We can label around 180 types of genes which will show expression differences, different expressions in the children in the autism. But those expression change will not cause the disease. They will not cause the disease. There will be little challenges to repair them. That's all. They will not cause the disease. But those are the representatives of the symptoms. Because of these pathologies, the genes have become normal. So we have to see that those mutations we can correct with the treatment. Next. Facts about autism, you can just keep on pressing till the slide is complete. Now, facts is, I don't want to tell, the ratio of this disease is about 6 to 1,000 births. Today, it has gone to 10 plus. 10 plus. 1,000 children are born, 10 to 15 children will show the evidence of autism. It is little more common in the male than the female. There is no selective racial acceptance or social differential acceptance. It is not that the disease is in poor community, in the rich community is not seen, it is distributed equally. Factors are different, that's the reason I told you. So don't expect that my children has a problem because I am a poor, doesn't have me. Similar, the problem can happen in a richest person also. So next. Go ahead again. Now today we do standard interventions, simple therapies like speech therapy, BBA therapy, occasional therapies, physiotherapies, specialized language programs. They do have a benefit, definitely. I don't say they don't improve. They do improve. But the improvement is 5 to 10% over a period of 3 years, 5 years. And then this improvement at 2 to 5% doesn't change the life of the child. Understood? If you want to see the life of the child is changed, our improvement has to be 70%, 60%, 80%. That is called as an ADL, activities for daily living. If you can bring the child to activities for daily living, your job is done. And by these therapies alone we can achieve. So that is the reason I call standard interventions are not sufficient for the treatment. You have been doing some of them, maybe doing therapies for years together. You can see little improvement, but you assist with the integrated management, improvements are very fast. And these kind of policies are being developed at Mali Center. So you have an additional benefit of getting children to much faster, better. Next. Cerebral palsy, few words I'll talk about it again. It is a absence of or lack of oxygen because of blood supply, either because of injury or a clot or a damage to the brain that will lead to death of certain cells in the brain, and I call it to be a big syndrome. Instead of calling cerebral palsy, I call it a palsy syndrome. Why palsy syndrome? If you see all the children like autism in the cerebral palsy, all children will have the same symptoms. Depending on which part of the brain affected, the child will show the symptoms. So I call it to be a impairment syndrome. I don't call them as an palsy, cerebral palsy. I call it a palsy impairment syndrome. Means depending on what part is affected, we will get the symptoms. Next. Now here also, treatment will remain the same like autism. Now here, depending on which part of the brain is affected, we get a type of presentation. As I told you, syndrome. Children are not on the same page. They are also at different pages. If you see here, cortex affected, stiff muscles, spasticity is increased. Sometimes dyskinesia comes with the basal ganglia. Cerebellum will get an ataxia, jerky movement. Mixed picture when both or 3-4 types of brains are involved with hypoxia, then it's a global damage. Next. I have a privilege in my life to, not only privilege, I am blessed to get in credit of the world's smallest child of cerebral palsy to give to the normal life. This child, if you see, continuously the baby had convulsions, rolling of hand. It is a 1 year, 2 month old child. Every hospital refused for the treatment of the child because it was underweight, the blood was not complete, child was sinking, and convulsions were continuous. Post-treatment, after 1.5 months, you can see the child is growing normal, complete normal. The mother is nursing, and the next slide will show the beauty of, in the YouTube, you can see the story. Next slide. This story was published to the miracles of the Indian science. That is Indian Book of Record, India Book of Records, and we got an appreciation certificate by my personal name to give a new life to the child when the world has lost the hope. Right now, one Zambian child is in the hospital of similar symptom. Within days, I may send a video, Pauline, please show them all of them. He was 800 gram weight. Still he's there in the hospital, send a video, 800 gram. Within 3 weeks, he has become 2.5 kg. Muscles are built up, neck holding has come. Now he is reacting to the mother cries. This is the beauty of work. Next. I will just read out the pathologies which are going to be expressed. Global developmental delay when the entire brain is affected. Next. Intellectual disabilities means the cognitive power, thinking power, imagination power, mathematical power. Next. Alzheimer's disease, if you see healthy brain and pathological brain, these are the atrophic parts of the brain. You can see the disease level here, you cannot see that. The bone growth is beautiful, space is normal, there are no damages like this in your healthy Alzheimer's disease where the brain is getting damaged. Next. Neuromuscular dystrophies, like muscular dystrophies, LGMD, DMD, BMD, all these children at STEM-RX have beautiful signs. What we do at STEM-RX in these children, we take a muscle biopsy of diseased child where dystrophin protein is deficient. Now this muscle biopsy, we co-culture with his father or mother's muscles. Now the mother and father's muscles give the disease cells what is deficient in the culture plate. And the child's cells start producing dystrophin. And we transplant back both the cells in the baby's body, and the muscle will start developing volume. Muscle will start developing the volume. This is a beautiful treatment which we have developed at STEM-RX, Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. Next. Parkinson's disease. Today, as on today, I told you not to, I don't know connect tomorrow, yesterday. Reason being that today I have a technology where I can assure you when you come to me with advanced Parkinson's disease or early Parkinson's disease, you will go back without Parkinson's disease. You will not go with partial improvement. You will go much, much improved life within 3 to 4 weeks time. This is a technology which I work on, micro dispensing of insulin growth factors cells to the brain through a micro infusion needle, and then the stem cells come in the picture and they will deliver. Anybody can take an experience. Within days the man will show changes, within days. Next. Alzheimer or spinal cord injury, similar treatments are available. It may take a little challenge because spinal cord injury has a little challenging, but we can make you walk with assisted life or without depending on the injury. Next. For all the diseases, normally what we do as a conventional therapy has a little role to play. They fail to bring you to ADL. ADL is activities for daily living. Next. So what do we look now? Orthopedic conditions where we can give improvement are these conditions where we can improve, or you can say arthritis, osteo, rheumatoid, bursitis, cubital syndrome, lateral epidermolysis, fibromyalgia, all can be repaired completely to normal. Next. Next. Avascular, this is my patented technology. This I have done more than 7,000 patients. This is a trial going in US of my patients where I have a commitment, same joint, lifetime. No replacement of the joint. Next. These are the some of the pre and post treatments. Next. Osteoarthritis. Next. I'm just giving a picturograms to understand you because pictures are remembered more than the reading. So I have developed this habit to when I go to the presentation, I keep most of the presentations on picturograms. So the people, even if you don't know the science, at least you learn something more. If I keep on only talking in words, you go back, what he spoke, I really don't know. Next. Shoulder injuries. I'm showing you pictures only because if you have frozen shoulder, if you have damaged head, if you have lost supraspinatus tendon tear, if you tear the deltoid, all can be repaired without surgery. And the time period will be at least a month. Next. Frozen shoulder. Next. Lumbar spondylitis. Remember, whenever you have low back ache and little refer pain, you go to a spine surgeon or orthopedician. He will straightway put you on the table and put a knife, right? He'll put a knife immediately and say your disc has to be replaced. STEM-RX has a technology, no surgery, using advanced technologies, non-interventional operative decompression of the brain and put this disc back inside and give the stem cells, no surgery of the spine. I don't recommend surgery in my clinical practice for spine and joints for the reason you will use the natural curves of the spine. Now when you repair, this curve of bending ahead is lost completely. And then you come in new curve. So when you have a new curve, weight is transferred on other joints, and those joints will start bending. It is creating our own problems. Next. Spondylitis, cervical. Let the symptoms come in the hand, and you come to me. I will send you without surgery, without symptoms, back in normal. It takes time, little, 3 to 4 weeks. It is not a magic, I touch and happens everything. It takes a time. It is a complete scientific application. Next. Fasciitis, very common problem. Next. No surgery, no painkillers. Tendon repairs, no surgery, no knife, no antibiotics, no painkillers. Next. Muscle injury, I already told you, if the muscle injury has taken place and you have lost this muscle, suppose, and there's a gap, trust me, I can bring you back all the muscle as it is by muscle fiber transplants. Next. Polymyalgia, after the post-COVID, let me tell you, all this sub-disease has grown so high, and people go with kind of steroids, painkillers, advanced drugs like immunosuppressants to treat this, which are damaging you. 2 weeks, entire reversal of polymyalgia, complete. Next. Fibromyalgia, next, same treatment. Next. Conventional therapies in this condition doesn't work. Next. In conventional therapy, a doctor will prescribe you painkiller, calcium, vitamin D, nothing else beyond that. And then he will give some exercise, not beyond that. So autoimmune conditions, we have thyroid to triggers, brain, multiple sclerosis, autism, Guillain-Barré syndrome, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, Graves' disease, blood, GI tract, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, celiac disease, peripheral neuropathy, diabetic neuropathy, 100% result. Within 2 to 3 weeks, your neuropathy will disappear. Peripheral neuropathy, lungs, asthma, Wegener disease, sclerosis, particular fibrosis, we will reverse. If you go to any standard big hospital, he'll say, no, lung has to be transplanted. Nothing can be done. Your lung will become functional here back again. Peripheral nerves, lungs, skin, eczema, psoriasis, people scratch until they see those big volume of ulcers on the leg, and they are not repairable. You go, he will give a steroid application, some steroid tablets, and make you enjoy that life of temporary brief. The moment you stop, the disease will flourish more. Remember, no steroids, no drugs, no anything, but your skin disease, whether it is acne, whether it is a lymphatic disease, whether it is a eczema, whether it is psoriasis, everything can be reversed with this technology without any application, without any drugs. Neither steroid nor any kind of drugs are there. These can be used here in the skin. I told you already fibromyalgia, bones, I told you. Next. Next, rheumatoid arthritis, I told you. Whether even if your deformities, without surgery, your deformities will get corrected. You will become normal hands. All those abnormalities of hand will become normal because we are reversing the disease. Ankylosing spondylitis. This is also my patented technology. The beauty of my science for spondylitis, ankylosis, 24 hours, not months, I'm taking weeks also, 24 hours after the treatment, the chest which is fixed will start blowing. The moment which is not there will start coming to me. This is a beautiful technology which you have developed. Next. Diabetes type 1. Parents have a painful life, remember, when it comes to diabetes type 1. 3 times pricks to check the sugar, 3 times insulin injection. Imagine. The child is painful. Every time you touch the child, he will cry. On the contrary, I'll say you, child is afraid of those things and make more other problems. This technology is StemRx, is so beautifully developed. The entire immune system which is responsible to destroy the beta cells of pancreas can be reversed back and the beta cells will start functioning. Next. Here we have a beautiful technology in this. What we do, we put a angiocath from your inguinal vein to the pancreas directly, through slacks. And we deliver the cell directly to the pancreas so that the repairing takes place in the pancreas. Next. Multiple sclerosis, autoimmune disease, psoriasis, I spoke. Right now I had 2 patients with psoriatic arthritis. 3 weeks, pain has gone, skin lesions have changed completely. Next. Systemic lupus, next. Addison's disease, where the adrenals all failed, next. Graves' disease for the thyroid, can be reversed back, next. In all these conditions, I have always mentioned at the number of diseases, conventional therapies don't work. They do repair for temporary. For till you take the drug, the moment you stop the drug, they come with a double force back to you again. Next. And remember, those drugs cause more pathologies than the disease then to you. Now, systemic conditions, certain things are metabolic syndromes, hypertension. I have a technology, if somebody is on 3-4 drugs of hypertension, 3 months, 4 months, he has to be with me, and he will come back without medication, coming back to normal blood pressure. So his future of heart, future of brain, future of kidney is completely protected. Next. Next, metabolic syndrome, I told already diabetic. I told already about diabetic repeatedly. Hypertension, I just explained you. Next. Thyroid, I explained you. Next. Next. Eye conditions, which I explained you, beautiful. All the repeat, I'll repeat again. Retinitis pigmentosa, age-related, diabetic retinopathy, glaucoma, optic nerve, any type of disease can be reversed. If you are lost vision, you have a 5% vision or 6% vision or 1% vision, we can bring it to 70% vision, 80%. And in those who doesn't have chance to repair, I have an artificial intelligence program which works on getting the vision, particularly by artificial intelligence. This is a technology which is based on a SPECT, which I prove given artificial retina attached to it, which will develop an image and shows you in the form of written pattern. And that even you can read out. I touch the finger and the entire paragraph you can read in the ear. No need of any assistance, any support. But that man can live a complete normal life also. He can be a banker, he can be a salesman, he can be anything to do his life with these kind of conditions also. Next. The names of same condition, please go ahead. These are